I find being able to interact with the site directly and doing as much as I can before getting to those external tools is best for my workflow. It's helpful for getting intimate with some of the problem areas or repeating issues of a site, and for not having a huge report to have to sift through. That's where these bookmarklets come in. Individual tools like this are more helpful in certain situations, like when checking blog posts, for example. Most of the time, the scope in what might need to be adjusted is limited to things like heading order and alt text. And so that's where we'll start. Bookmarklets are great because they're easy to add, they're easy to replace. They don't require you to install a browser extension that can possibly read the sites that you use or slow down your browser or end up no longer supported by the browser, sometimes without warning or explanation. So how do they work? They look just like other bookmarks when you're looking at them, but they're actually a tiny bit of code that runs, usually involving the page that you're viewing. And you can add a bookmarklet through the add bookmark or bookmark manager method in your browser. Basically, you just add a new bookmark, give it a name, and instead of a URL, you're basically just going to paste in that little bit of code. The most common way of adding a bookmarklet is if there's a link somewhere on a page with one of them, you can just drag that right into your bookmarks bar or inside of a folder in your bookmarks bar to keep it organized. And that's the method that's going to be the most common, and it's the method that I'm going to show you. Now, there are a lot of bookmarklets out there. How do you choose which ones to use? Well, you're going to most likely be using a combination of bookmarklets from different sources. There may be different ones that do the same thing in a slightly different way, so you're going to want to test them out and go with the one that works best and that you like best. I'll add links to all the tools I reference in the description. The best place to start is going to be with this group of 5 bookmarklets. They have ones for landmarks, headings, lists, images, and forms. All of these are really solid options, and they're going to help you get the hang of bookmarklets and accessibility testing. So if we take, for example, the headings, I click on it, drag it up to my bookmarks bar, it pops right up in there. I can even, make a folder and then drag that into there. It's just like any other bookmark. So if we test this out, we click on it, it displays all of the headings on the page, and it's going to highlight every single one. The helpful thing here is that since it highlights all of the headings, I can see that things that are headings should be headings, and things that aren't headings shouldn't be headings. So if there's a rogue heading somewhere, or the heading is out of order, or if something should be a heading but isn't, this is a really great way for me to really quickly take a look at this. Now, if I click on the bookmarklet again, it's going to revert back to what it was. Not all of the bookmarklets will do that. Some of them do end up needing you to refresh the page, but that's why these 5 are really great to start with. They're really solid and definitely ones that you should use. If we take a look, for example, at the lists one, let's drag our lists up here. And if we click on that one, we can see that there's actually a few different types of lists that it's highlighting. We have the navigation isn't a list as it should be. We actually have this group of bookmarklets as a list. This is really helpful for people who use screen readers, for example. It marks this up in a list that to us visually has some definition. It's split up. It looks sort of like a list, just indicated through different means. And it gives that same treatment. It tells somebody using a screen reader that there are 5 items here, and here's the first one, second, third, and so on. And then, down the page, we have a more traditional list that looks like a list as well. And so this is really helpful to see that things are marked up as lists. And so if I'm going through and I'm saying, oh, actually, you know what, this would be really helpful as a list, I can see that it's not marked up that way and should be. So once you've gotten a good feel for those, you can move on to some of the other bigger collections. The one put together by A11Y Tools is really helpful. They have a much bigger range of bookmarklets, so some of them are a little more advanced than others. For example, the Live Region Watcher. Your site may not use this at all. It may use it and you don't know that. So this could be a good example of you see something and you say, oh, hey, what's that? And now it gives you that opportunity to look into this and what makes something accessible or not in the context of this item. So it's a great way to start to learn other topics about things, but it also has some other bookmarklets. For example, listing images and listing links. This actually pops out a window that lists in a table all of your images and all of its alt text. And so it gives you a really quick way of taking a look at images and making sure that everything is given that alt text if it should, or that it's empty when it should be empty. Same with the links. It lets you see that link text to make sure that it's clear. Just like a screen reader user might pull up a list of links, it lets you sort of do the same thing. So you can see, are these links clear? Do I know where this link is going to take me if I don't have any of the surrounding context? An example of doing a similar thing in a different way. We have another headings checker, but this one only highlights problems on the page. So it's not going to give you that opportunity to double check that headings are headings and text is text, but it'll show you if the headings are in the correct order or not. There are also some individual bookmarklets out there that are really helpful. So they might not be full collections, but they're definitely things that I would recommend checking out. The first one is testing 200% text size. This is a really quick way of making sure that if somebody increases the size of their text, not zoom in, but increases the size of their text, that everything reflows correctly. So this is a really great one. There's one by WebAIM. It's a contrast checker bookmarklet. So this is going to give you that quick contrast checker just to double check that everything has the proper contrast. One that's a little bit more advanced is one for form field autocomplete. So making sure that the inputs give the proper autocomplete value. It makes it easier for different technologies to autofill the proper information, and will even sometimes adjust like mobile device keyboards to fit with the type of input. It makes it a lot easier for people to fill in your forms. There's even an HTML code sniffer. So a bookmarklet can kind of really do almost anything. Just a brief disclaimer, bookmarklets are bits of code that run when you click on them. So make sure that you trust the place that you're getting them from. If you're looking for more and you've really gotten the hang of these bookmarklets, you love them, and you want to see what else is out there, there's a couple other collections that you can pick through and find what works for you. These are very large lists of bookmarklets, and I don't know the frequency that they are tested, but I have found a ton of helpful ones through them. The first one is going to be from Jason Morris, and it's a really long list. It gives you a really brief description of what they are and who they're from. So this is a really great one to check out. See if you like one of them and test it and make sure it works. The second one is from Digital A11Y. They have a list of 52 of them. They go over a little bit about how to use the bookmarklets, and then they too just give you a really big list with a brief description of what they do. And so you don't need to just install all of these and use them all. It's more if you find yourself doing something over and over again, or testing for something, or you glance through the list and one catches your eye, you can test it out. You definitely don't need to install hundreds and hundreds of bookmarklets. They're just really great tools to use to help you in testing for accessibility. And that's going to bring us to the end of our bookmarklet session. Make sure to check out the other accessibility testing tools in the rest of the videos.